All right, I'm due to make a video. You might ask, why did you take so long to make a video for most of October? I believe my mother went to heaven to be with her husband Bill on October the 8th. I'm not sure of the exact date. That's the latest information that I got from my men. And I heard that Brent was going to write me a letter about how she passed, and it apparently was a misunderstanding between me and Zach Knight. And I didn't want to ruin whatever they were planning in regard to the letter, so I waited. And then I found out from Brent that he wasn't going to write me a letter, and they recommended that I post the memoriam video that I made for my mother, which I did about a week ago. I'm actually, once I found out how she died, or in my opinion, it was like she was raptured, how she went, I was at complete peace. When I first heard she passed, I cried because, she's my mother. But I somehow knew, it was like she was communicating with me from heaven. I somehow knew that she had a good passing. Yeah. And then I found out from Buddha how she went. It was like she was raptured. She suffered no pain. She just told Buddha about why she became an angry, bitter woman, and why, basically some things from her youth that she never really resolved. And so she was, I believe, a Tokyo beauty pageant winner. And my men were telling me that may not have been totally correct, that she might have made some of that up. Regardless, she was a very beautiful woman, even if she wasn't second place in Miss Tokyo Beauty Pageant. And Buddha listened to her quietly, and she said she wanted to get things right, but she just didn't have the energy. She was too old. She passed at the age of 93, which for most Americans, well, she's a Japanese American, is a long time. Though I will say this much, my mother's mother passed at 102. So longevity seems to run in my family. Aren't these beautiful earrings from Brent? So I've been obsessed with honoring her passing. And it must be the Buddhist in me, but I've been obsessed with cooking all of her favorite food. It's like I feel like she can taste it from heaven. So I've been I thought at my new location that I wouldn't be able to go to the Asian store because I am living without a car. What happened to my car was pretty obnoxious. The demon Baphomet ejaculated into all the holes of my car, and I had a wonderful car. It got me to where I'm at, where I live right now. I was able to make a across the state move. But once I got here, Baphomet, the demon Baphomet, ejaculated. Even though I always lock the door, he can apparently use some sort of higher dimensional thing. He ejaculated into the brake lines, the fuel lines, all of the lines that carry oil into the engine, and he basically destroyed the engine, the brakes, and anything in the car that carried liquid lines. And I asked my men what I should do about the car. Actually, what happened was when I discovered my brakes went all the way down to the floor, this was around March the 8th, and my brake light, warning light, kept coming on, and my men didn't get it because they said it appears like everything's okay with your car. Finally, I told them that my brakes are going all the way down to the floor. There is no resistance at all. It is not safe to drive that car. So they said, we agree. Maybe you should go get it, take it. Jesus did say if you wanted to repair it, to take it to a local mechanic. And I said, you know what, let me try doing without the car, because there is a grocery store within walking distance, and because I have to do the Gail commandment walk to go, every day for a half an hour walk outside, and if I incorporate shopping into it, it'll just make it fun. And lo and behold, I was getting along fine without the car. The advantage of shopping every day is I can get a lot of fresh produce, which is my favorite way to eat. I love my salads. I love fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. And by yeah, just incorporating it into my daily walk. And finally, it just occurred to me, I thought, hey, I remember back in Florida, if I had a car in the parking lot and I needed to move it, my apartment would get mad at me if I didn't move the car right away, like if they had to do tree work or they had to repave the parking lot. And finally my man said, sell your car for cash. We analyzed your car, and because it had been sitting there for, this was like in August, it had been sitting there for months, all the lines had dried up, and we have determined there's dried, crusted up semen in all of the liquid lines of your car. It would cost $8,000 repair work to fix your car. They said it's not worth it. That it's worth that the repair work is more than what your car is worth. Yeah, I got a really good deal on that car, and just sell it for cash. So, yeah, I've been doing without a car fine. At first, I thought I wouldn't be able to go to an Asian store, but and a lot of the stores around here don't carry things like shiitake mushrooms. I have to walk 2 miles to get bok choy. The good news is, because I've been so faithful in doing the Gail commandments, it's easy for me to walk 2 miles. And to my amazement, Jesus has got me set up really well here. And I am a big time walker, and I've become an even bigger walker since I've come here. Yeah, I was able to find a really nice Asian store in this town. And I got my shiitake mushrooms and some senbi, the Japanese rice crackers, which we can only get in an Asian store here. And but as a result of my daily walking and shopping almost every day for groceries, I've developed, and because I'm in a better financial situation here than I was in Florida, I'm basically eating what I like. And when you go to my cooking channel, I've been trying all sorts of new recipes. In other words, right now I shop and I just eat what I like. I don't have to worry about the cost and all that. I eat what I like. You might say, oh, you're eating lobster every day. I'm allergic to shellfish, so no, I'm not eating lobster every day. I will admit, though, that I do enjoy lobster. I'm not sure if I'm allergic to crab, but I'm not going to take any chances, because last time I ate a red lobster, I got sick, so I know I'm allergic to shrimp. I know that for sure. I'm not sure about some of the other shellfish. I'm not going to chance it, because, well, I can live without lobster. That tends to be a little bit expensive anyway. So, yeah, I've been honoring my mother by going on a cooking binge, making all of her favorite foods. She loved Vermont curry. So at first I thought I couldn't find Vermont curry. It wasn't even sold at the Walmart here. I can walk to the Walmart. I can walk to another grocery store. I can even go to Publix. None of them had Vermont curry. And it used to be you could get a box of Vermont curry mix at Walmart. Now you can't. The only place you can get it now is the Asian grocer. But I did get some. But I figured out a recipe on how to make my own if I'm ever in a situation where I cannot make Vermont curry. So you say, what are your favorite foods? My favorite foods are a combination of Mediterranean, Japanese, and Chinese cuisine. Okay? I do have favorites for the morning, and this is almost the same every morning. For breakfast, I will have oatmeal with blueberries, fresh strawberries, and fresh red grapes. I love that. And then I sprinkle in some walnuts, and that's my breakfast. And then I have a couple of pieces of I love the dark chocolate. That's the one I have is 72%, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, cacao content. Delicious. Oh, I love it. Yeah. And then I make my own homemade milk chocolate. It's made from a combination of cocoa and usually about 1 or 2% milk with some sugar. I make it myself. It tastes like gourmet chocolate. That's what Brent's been telling me. My husband Brent is an MD, and he says, Gail, you eat really healthy. In fact, he's been joking with you, saying, you eat like a rich person eats now. So for breakfast, I will have like 1 or 2 pieces of my dark chocolate, and with the fruit and the oatmeal, and then my homemade milk chocolate, which is cocoa, milk, and sugar. And then I have kefir. And I usually, to try to save on calories, I usually have plain kefir, and I'll mix it with blueberry or strawberry kefir. Brett recommended I get kefir because I had some digestive issues, and he thought that would help. The only medicine I'm on is Seroquel. I am not on anything else. I find by doing the Gail commandments, I stay very healthy. I am not on anything else. Jesus has banned me from taking any over-the-counter medications. He won't even let me take allergy stuff. I think part of it, so the Seroquel is the only thing I'm on. And my husband is an MD, and if my allergies act up or something, he can administer the medicine to me, I think intravenously, using like transporter, some sort of technology from Church of Gail. So I think one of the reasons Jesus got me off of everything was in case my husband needs to give me medicine, he can just administer to me using advanced technology. And therefore, nothing that I'm taking will interfere with what he needs to do. They also have advanced scanners on Church of Gail where they can scan me for cancer, check the condition of my cells. Brent says I'm very healthy. The only thing we're dealing with now is a Jesuit shapeshifter eczema mite, which it's a new invention, and it causes itchy skin. And what I did is I went and bought some CeraVe lotion for eczema, but because this mite works internally, it goes through your blood, it actually disguises itself as one of your regular cells, and then it releases nasty toxins that produce allergy-like symptoms, itchiness, and Brent is coming up with ways to deal with it, trying to remove it from my body, and also I think he's created eater cells that eat it up. So when you're dealing with Jesuit medicine, it's like you can't follow traditional medicine because they come up with these monstrosities, horrible inventions. So yeah, for breakfast I will usually have that. I love it. For lunch and dinner I vary it up. I always have a salad, and I usually throw in some walnuts in there, like spinach with lettuce, maybe throw in some eggs. I love ranch dressing. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but I love it. And I put the ranch dressing on there and mix it with like a spinach lettuce salad with walnuts. I love the Japanese curry. That's Japanese food. I love gyoza. My mother's homemade gyoza recipe, it's at my cooking channel. She uses napa cabbage, ground beef, garlic, dried onions, and mixes it and then dips it in a dip that is half soy sauce and half Italian dressing. It's delicious. That was one of my mother's. Right now, my mother loved her Vermont curry, and I'm right now just making all the foods my mother loved. She also loved sushi, but she got away from the sashimi style sushi. She didn't trust the raw fish anymore. But I love California rolls, and I think I finally figured out how to make that. I have the recipe at my website, though I made a YouTube video about it at my cooking channel. California rolls are a little challenging. My mother would usually just buy them at the grocery store and bring them home. The problem with making your own sushi is that sushi doesn't last very long, so if you make it, it needs to be eaten right away. It will only last at the most for 24. This is the California roll. For the most, maybe 24 to 48 hours in the refrigerator. And then even then, it doesn't taste as good as fresh sushi. So, and another sushi I'm going to try is cucumber sushi, and I'm going to try smoked salmon sushi. So I will be working on those at my cooking channel. I also cook Chinese. My mother liked fried rice. I don't like my mother's version of fried rice. I make the Chinese version. I like it better. My fried rice has egg, pork. I usually use pork that I cook myself, fresh bean sprouts. Bean sprouts is a hard to find item where I live, but from now on, if I have to, I can use canned, but the fresh soybean sprouts from the Asian grocer are really good. Yeah, I just made some egg foo young, but I don't want to make that all the time because it's a little fattening. That uses I make my own version of lo mein noodles. I love pasta primavera. That's an Italian dish. Another recipe that I'm going to try is garlic potatoes, a Greek dish, which is delicious. See, I've been making curry. I like Chinese greens with chicken. That's like bok choy, stir fried with some chicken thighs or chicken breasts, and I like a soy sauce stir fry. It's really good. Miso soup. My mother used to use dashi no moto, and that's for making the dashi stock. I'm not really crazy about the Japanese fish stock. I'm going to try a different version of miso soup that uses vegetable stock. I'll be making a cooking video about that. But let me just show you some of my favorite foods. I'm going to get my cookbooks here. These are cookbooks that I've had a long time. Where is this? Oh, here it is. Yeah. I also have compiled a lot of recipes. I actually bought this cookbook in the 1980s when I first got married, and I lost my books when I wasn't able to move my books from Seattle at the time of my divorce in 2001, but I rebought the book around 2006. The original version I had was hardback. This has some really nice recipes in it, and a lot of them are at my cooking channel. This recipe I'm not too crazy about. But though I'll admit, you might say egg rolls are not healthy. I found a version that I think will be healthy. They're baked egg rolls. I'll be making a cooking video on that when I make it. Another recipe that I like in here is, what I did is I went through here and tried a lot of the recipes that interested me. Some of the Chinese soups I like. I'm going to be making wonton soup pretty soon, but because I have shellfish allergy, I can't make the one in the cookbook. It uses shrimp. So I'm going to be making one with pork, which I think will be really good. And sour and hot soup is pretty good too. It uses this forest or shiitake mushrooms. This one uses cloud ears. I may try this one later, but I'll modify it and maybe just use all shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms are supposed to be pretty healthy too. Corn soup, I made this one. This is delicious. This is something from the Chinese cookbook that I like. I'm just letting you know the foods I like. Brent says I eat pretty healthy. I've made this before. This is delicious. I'll be making cooking videos for this. Seaweed soup. Oh, there's only one problem. This one uses chopped prawns. That's why I haven't made it. What I might do is do a variation on it and make it without the shrimp. Just use pork. This is my favorite fried rice from this cookbook. This is the Chinese style. My mother makes a Japanese version, which I don't like. She uses all bacon. I use eggs. There is bacon in it, but I use it with, usually use turkey bacon and cooked meat, bean sprouts, which my mother didn't do. I like my version better than hers. This is really delicious. Tomato beef chow mein. Yeah, I'm just sharing with you some of my favorite foods. I love this. Pork chow mein, very hard to find Chinese noodles here. I did make a recipe at my website using kind of lo mein style noodles. I don't really like it as much as the Chinese noodles. When I went to the Asian store, I found some yakisoba noodles. I'm going to be trying this recipe again with the yakisoba noodles, and I think it'll be good. Yeah, I still have to eat some that I froze. I got a lot of leftovers to eat. Another recipe that I really like that I made from here. Now, when I first got this cookbook, I wasn't allergic to shrimp, so I've had to eliminate. These are really economical and delicious chicken dishes. I'm gonna skip oyster sauce chicken for obvious reasons. Glazy sauce, really good. I've made that before. I'm gonna be making hoisin sauce chicken. I love that, delicious. You say, what do you eat it with? Usually a bowl of fried rice and maybe steamed vegetables. I like to be able to taste my food. So even though I enjoy a lot of the Chinese stir fry, I'll usually have like steamed vegetables or a salad with simple brown or white rice on the side, and then I'll sprinkle like furikake. I don't know food. I love the Japanese furikake. You can get it at the Asian store. You say, what is that? It's like a seaweed sprinkle. It's like my candy. Hey, we all have our sins, right? I got to enjoy my life. I figure I could be eating more unhealthy stuff than furikake. Furikake is delicious. It's a Japanese seaweed sprinkle. That's my candy. But I try to eat it in moderation. Let's see, what else is there here? Spicy beef. This is pretty good. When I get around to making this, I'll make a YouTube video on that. You guys got to check out my cooking channel because I've been getting really big. Broiled ginger steak, delicious. I've made that before. Ginger beef. I remember Jesus loved this when he was with us. He used to pig out on my ginger beef. I have made that. I think I even made a cooking video on that. Oyster sauce steak is good, but I've kind of skipped the oysters. I have made steamed fish with ginger. These fish dishes are delicious. Yeah. Now, what's really interesting, I was studying the longevity in the world. The people right now that live the longest in the world live in Hong Kong. It's outdoing Japan right now. Japan's number 2. Their secret seems to be they're big walkers, and they eat the healthy Chinese cuisine, the Cantonese cuisine, which is kind of like Mediterranean food. And they think they also have they have a good health system, and they have good social support. Yeah. So I think I'm eating pretty healthy Chinese food here. One of my with fish dishes, I find that the fish dishes taste good if they're kind of simple, and fish does not taste good left over, unless it's canned fish. I haven't had. The problem with the fish dishes is they don't taste good leftovers. So whenever I cook a fish dish from raw or frozen fish, I try to make enough to just for that day and not for leftovers, because I've learned it's like sushi. They don't taste good leftover. Okay, let me see what else is there. You all need to check out my cooking channel. Okay, I think that for Chinese. Yeah, I've been fixing a lot of the dishes from here. Oh, these are both good. Pea pods with beef. Oh, they just made me choke. Those Jesuits. Broccoli with beef. Delicious. I make that all the time. Chinese greens. I just made some. In fact, that's what I'll be having today. Skip prawns with vegetables. Pork with scrambled eggs. I'm making, tiger lily buds and cloud ears are kind of hard to get around here, so I'll skip that one. Egg foo young, I just made that. I make that rarely because it's kind of fattening. So I kind of treat it more like an appetizer. This one one is pretty good. I've made this before, spicy tofu. Yeah. But I had to go to the Asian store to get the bean paste. It says to use hot bean paste. I'm going to use something black bean paste, which I think will be just as good. So that's from Chinese. You say, what else do you make Chinese? Well, basically everything Chinese that I make I got from this cookbook, or it's a modification of that. A lot of my Japanese is from my mother and from this cookbook, which I also bought in the 1980s. Let's see, and then for my mother, I don't make everything in here. There is a miso soup. Yeah. I'm going to try my own version of miso soup. I am just not crazy about dashi stock. I don't know why I don't like it. I'm going to try a different version of it. I love tempura. But I'm going to skip it because, well, I'm allergic to shellfish. They usually make it with stuff like shellfish, and it's kind of fattening. So I'm going to be skipping that. Let's see. There's what else is there in here? I've made salmon dengaku before. That's pretty tasty. But my favorite way to make salmon is with dill and lemon. That's kind of like Mediterranean, I guess. I don't know what it is, but it's delicious. Very simple, with some salt, and bake it or broil it. I've made this before. This is really good, steamed whitefish, and I've got my shiitake mushrooms, so I can do that. This is really good too. Chicken in one pot. It uses kombu, kelp, ponzu sauce. Yeah, chicken teriyaki is good. Steamed chicken. I've made these before. Here's another one that I really like. Chicken and egg on rice. Here it is. Chicken and egg on rice. I think I've made a YouTube video on that. For a while I thought I had to sacrifice my Japanese food, but I bought me a whole bunch of shiitake mushrooms at the Asian store. I found out I can get there by bus. Yeah. So I plan on going to the Asian store about once a month to pick up stuff that I can't get at the regular grocers, like shiitake mushrooms, my furikake, my senbi. That's Japanese rice candy. Not rice candy. Rice crackers. I love this chicken curry rice. I've also come up with my own recipe. So if you're not able to get Vermont curry, I've come up with something that tastes just like it. Yeah, the recipe's at my website. Now this is something that I make when I'm in the sukiyaki. My mother would make this every now and then. I might make it when I get in the mood to spend all day cooking. Yeah, but right now I'm just haven't been in the mood to make that. But it's delicious. Let's see. Pork cutlet is pretty good. I'm going to skip that right now. Ginger pork saute. You know, I ought to try this. This actually looks really good. I think I'm going to try that sometime. Thick pork soup, delicious. It does require daikon radish, which I can get at the Asian store. So when I decide to make that, I will have to make a trip to the Asian store. Let's see here. So I'm just sharing with you you say, why are you sharing? I am honoring my mother was a big time cook. When she was my age, when she was married to Bill and I lived with her, for dinner, she laid out like a 10-course meal. It was like eating at a gourmet restaurant, and I kind of take after her. Oh, this is delicious. Cucumber salad. You see that? Yum, yum. I'll be trying that sometime. Yeah, that is delicious. That's a Japanese salad. Yeah, you might. Yeah, Brent tells me that my food is very healthy. And what's really interesting is I have noticed that they have like a Wikipedia page on the people who live to like 118 years old. A lot of them eat just like I do. Yeah. There's one French lady who made it to like 100 and 18 or 19, she has a little bit of dark chocolate every day. She says, I gotta have my chocolate. And even the Japanese lady who made it to, I think, 122, she did this. To my amazement, this Japanese lady said she had chocolate every day. So apparently my habit of liking my dark chocolate is not a bad thing to do. Yeah. Another thing a lot of them did, they were all big walkers. Like they like to walk. So I'm a big walker, and Jesus is the one who got me into that. Like, I may be 65, but I can easily walk 4 miles a day. Yeah, my feet get a little tired though, so if I do like a 4-mile walk, then I need to give my feet a break and then like maybe do a shorter walk the next day. But then the day after that, I'm good to go for another 4-mile walk. So like if I want to walk to a store that's kind of far away, I can do a 4-mile. I can do 2 miles to the store, 2 miles back. Yeah, and I enjoy the walk, and Brent accompanies me. He looks amazing for his age right now, by the way. Oh, this is delicious. Simmered cabbage and shiitake mushrooms. That's a combo of regular cabbage with shiitake mushrooms. I can bake that. I think I've got a cooking video on that. Here's another one that's kind of good. Fluffy boiled potatoes with bonito flakes. I would have to get that at the Asian store, but I'm sure they carry it. So I'm going to be visiting the Asian store. Simmered daikon radish, another delicious. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'll be visiting. I'm fixing a lot of the foods that my mother liked. Vegetable tempura. My mother did make that a lot. She kind of got away from some of her Asian cuisine, though, when she got a little older. But when she was my age and younger, she made a lot of that. One time, her friends made potato croquettes. It was so good. I may try that sometime. Yeah, that's delicious. I've tried to make it before. I try to stay away from the deep fried dishes, though, because, the cleaning and everything. Now, this is the kind of sushi my mother used to make. She would make like the cucumber rolls, and I'm going to be doing that. I like the cucumber rolls. I am planning on making cucumber rolls. My mother did make those. Even though, chicken rice. This is good. I've made this before. Delicious. She said, you eat a lot of Japanese food. Yeah, yep, I do. I love it. Chicken noodles. I'll be doing this sometime. This is good for cold weather, too. That uses bonito flakes, so next time I go to the Asian store, I'm going to need to get some bonito flakes. And they also sell kombu or kelp and wakame seaweed, so I'll be needing that. I make this all the time. Stir-fried rice vermicelli. One of my favorites. Yeah, that uses shiitake mushrooms. By the way, shiitake mushrooms are supposed to be pretty good for you. So my liking for shiitake mushrooms is another healthy thing that I do. So that pretty much covers a lot of the Japanese food that I like. Now, other foods that I like are from other countries. Let's see. I love a lot. Let me see if I can find one with pictures. Pasta primavera, yum yum. Let me take a look at the beginning of each section. Let's go to the Italian section. A lot of you know what pasta primavera is, When I found out about Laurie McBride in 1996, Franco Nero came into my life, and I tried to learn authentic Northern Italian cuisine for him. He's now married to Vanessa Redgrave, and I'm very happy for him. Okay, let me tell you some of my Italian favorites. Chicken soup with pasta and cheese. Tomato mozzarella salad. Baked fish steaks with capers. Oh, is that good? Chicken piccata. That's chicken breasts with capers, and it's baked. It's really good. Pot roast style steak with tomatoes. Lemon juice, tomatoes, marinated pasta primavera. I told you I like Mediterranean cuisine. Fresh lemon juice. Then you cut up some Like I usually use squash, carrots, or you could put mushrooms, snow peas, and then you throw in your al dente pasta. I love the Barilla brand. Peas with pine nuts, delicious. Herbed batter bread, that is a homemade bread that I've made. And I've made that, it's delicious. Yeah, that's my favorite from Italy. And sometimes I'll make Americanized versions like spaghetti and stuff. My mother used to make spaghetti too. Let's see, from the French cuisine. Hey, so don't knock the French cuisine. There's some French people that have lived a long time. Yeah, in fact, I think the longest living person right now is a French nun. She's the oldest person in the world right now. French cuisine. 32. Okay, 32. Let me check. Yeah, there's some French food that I've really taken a liking to. I have made, let's see, chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. I think, I used to think I had a FODMAP problem. I don't. That was all Jesuit mites. So I'm going to be trying that sometime. Another French dish that I like is meatless cassoulet. When I get in the mood for that, I'll make it. I've made it before. Roasted asparagus with Dijon vinaigrette. Yum, yum. I've actually made a cooking video about that. Yeah, that's pretty much for French. Now let's go to German. You say, that's not Mediterranean. Yeah, well, I like all different kinds of food, you know. Okay. So German cuisine. From Germany, my favorite food. Oh, goodness, I got, okay, that's 66. I fell in love with this cookbook. It has some really nice recipes in here. Okay, the German cuisine. What I like, chilled asparagus with lemony garlic dressing. German potato salad with baby carrots. I've made that before. I love it. I also like turkey meatballs in acorn squash shells. Another one that I like from Germany, which I haven't made in a while, is homemade Black Forest cake. I'm trying to kind of cut down on the sugars so I can maintain my weight. So that's what I like from Germany. I have made their puffed pancake with apple cranberry sauce, but I'm going to kind of skip that right now. For my desserts, I'll probably just go with sembi and furikake. Okay, Greek cuisine. Oh, some of this Greek food I really like. Let's go to 94. Let's see. I'm going through this cookbook because I love some of this stuff in here. What have I liked in here? Fish sauteed with tomatoes and cinnamon. That's good. I've made that before. Savory chicken patties. That has like cilantro, and you bread it, and you kind of pan fry it. Then it has like a creamy cilantro yogurt dressing that you put over it. It's really good. I have made homemade gyros before, but I'm not going to do that right now. Garlic potatoes. I'm going to be making that. I haven't done that in a while, but that is good. You say that's kind of Mediterranean. Let's see, what else? That's the Greek cuisine that I like. You say, what else do you like? Mostly I love Italian food. Yeah. Let's see. Middle Eastern cuisine. There's some Middle Eastern that I like. 120. Let's check this out. I like the lemon chicken. I kind of make a variation of the Middle Eastern lemon chicken. It's really simple. There's a lot of recipes that I like from a 1980s American Heart Association cookbook that I used to have. It's kind of like lemon chicken. I made stuffed zucchini once. That's okay. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I mostly cook Asian cuisine. I like the Italian food, which I already mentioned. I probably left something. Oh, let me show just recipes that I have compiled. Let me go get that. Yeah, I've been really big into cooking lately. I've been making my own recipes, and these are ones that I've printed out. Okay, so healthy roasted California rolls. I'm going to be trying that. Yeah, California rolls. Sushi, I'm going to be trying Korean curry rice. I bought some Korean curry because when I first went to the Asian store this month, they were out of the mild Vermont curry. I don't like medium or hot. So I'll be making that. Another recipe that I like is Southern food, which is pretty healthy. Smoky collard greens with chickpeas. And another Southern dish that I kind of like, which has been a big hit, has been Southern fried chicken. I'm just not really big into deep fried food, but I will admit it is delicious, okay? Low FODMAP I made smoky collards with chickpeas. It's at my cooking channel. Delicious. I like that. So that's some Southern food. Another Japanese dish I like is nasu dengaku. That's eggplant with a miso paste topping and I make it with tofu. Delicious. I have made a Mexican dish called carne asada, which is really good. Another dish that I like is brown rice and red or azuki beans. And I usually make that with kombu seaweed. It's good, kind of Asian. Another dish that I like is, let's see, I'm going through the recipes where I had to kind of like make it my own. I've made cilantro lime chicken. I think that's kind of Thailand food. It's really good. Let's see, chicken with wine and potatoes. My mother used to make some Cuban dish with chicken and wine and potatoes, and I've kind of come up with a variation on that. It's delicious. Arroz con pollo. I like that. So I make that sometimes. That's Hispanic. So you're not completely Mediterranean. Hey, don't knock the Spanish. They live long in Spain too, you know? Okay. Chad's chili recipe. Delicious. I also make another chili that I like. I like chili. Chili con carne. Let's see, what else is there? I love just plain cod sauteed in garlic oil. Yeah, it's like a cod fillet with fresh lemon juice, flour for coating. Very simple, delicious. I make that. Let's see. I'm going to be trying baked vegetable egg rolls. Yeah, I'm going to be trying that. It just looks really good and healthy. The problem that I have with egg rolls is that they're too deep fried, you know, and I'm trying not. I have made there's an egg salad recipe that I'm going to try, and I think I've made it before. And sometimes I've made my own homemade lemon vinaigrette dressing, which is really good. But I've taken a liking to ranch lately. Okay, I'm going to be trying a kale miso soup. As you can see, most of what I eat is pretty healthy. I already talked about nasu dengaku. There's a Greek dressing that I've made it's also homemade, which is pretty good. I have made kombu seaweed chips from leftover kombu whenever I make like kombu stock for miso soup. Betcha. I'm not as much into that as I was in Florida. Let's see. Here's one I'm going to try. My mother made this all the time. Cold soba noodles with dipping sauce. And it is delicious. My mother used to make that all the time. Yeah, I'll be making, you guys need to check out my cooking channel. Yeah, my mother made that a lot. Yeah, so I'm making a lot of stuff to honor her memory. As you can see, I eat a lot of Japanese food. I was raised on it. I have made spicy Indian potatoes with cilantro. I'm going to be trying fresh vegetable lasagna. Yeah, that's gotta, yeah. I'm just on a real cooking spree here, just to honor my mother, who was a big-time cook. Let me see, let's skip that right now. I think I'm going to try herbed potato salad. Yeah, that looks really good. Yeah. I also have made oven roasted baby potatoes. My favorite version of salmon is salmon with lemon and dill. Yeah, you use salt and fresh ground pepper, and then you can use dry white wine, or you can use fish stock, chicken stock, or just plain water. I'm going to try that. I also like, my favorite though I think is this one here. Yeah, lemon dill salmon in foil. Yeah, this is my favorite. This is the one I'm probably going to make. I like my fish pretty simple. I like to be able to taste my food. Another recipe that I like is a French dish, soca. It's chickpea flatbread. I love it. I have made it before, and I'm going to make some soca. So you need to check out my cooking channel. You may say, that's not Mediterranean. You know, Brent's, I like a lot of Mediterranean stuff, but I pick like my favorites from every little country, you know. Another thing that I'm going to try is smoked salmon sushi. Yum, yum. Veggie sushi roll. Yeah, that's the cucumber. I'm considering canned tuna sushi. The problem with sushi is I got to eat it right away, you know. So you say, why are you mentioning all this? I'm honoring my mother because she was a big time cook. I bet she's up in heaven and she's getting to sample everything that I'm making. Oh, by the way, about 1.5 years ago, she had really bad cancer all over her body, and Brent cured her, so she didn't die of cancer. She just got raptured, basically. And what was funny is she was complaining up a storm, and the only thing she didn't complain about was my cooking. Because while she was in Church of Gail Hospital, Brent offered her some of my food, and he said that was the only thing she didn't complain about. That's kind of funny. Another thing that I love is dill roasted sweet potatoes. I think I made a cooking video on that. Oh, that is delicious. You got to eat it in moderation, though, because it can be fattening. Turmeric ginger tea. That is actually pretty good. You make it with ginger powder, turmeric powder, coconut oil, and lemon juice and black pepper. Yeah, you can see I eat pretty healthy. Brett's telling me it seems like Jesus created you to have a liking for all this food that's super healthy. And he says you make it super delicious. Another thing I love is shepherd's pie. Yeah, I think that comes from the UK. I make it with baking potatoes, and I've made a cooking video on this, salt and pepper, homemade chicken stock, and dried dill, and some corn. It is delicious. Oh, is this the right one? Oh yeah, and then I throw in, corn. The dill makes the dish. I have made spaghetti. My mother used to make that every now and then. She had a liking for some Italian recipes. Spaghetti, the way the Americans make it though, that's American style spaghetti, that's okay. I have made the savory turkey chicken patties. That's kind of Greek. Okay, let's see. Another thing that I have made is wakame seaweed with tofu salad. I like that, but wakame seaweed's hard to get around here, so I tried it. But I might make that, though. Yeah, I've made it before. I have made 6-minute seared ahi tuna steaks. That's kind of Japanese. I had some yellowfin tuna that I bought at the store, and I used that. It was delicious. Another thing I'm going to be making is pork wonton soup, because I have to make it without the shrimp. And yeah, so basically, I've been going on a cooking binge to honor my mother. Yeah, I'm sure I put all the food on this little table over here, and I'm sure all them at Church of Gail are enjoying it. So you all need to check out my cooking channel. As far as the funeral for my mother, I have requested that Buddha lead the Buddhist part of the ceremony. Since he was with her since when she passed, it seems only appropriate. I bet he's going to. In fact, Brent may end up writing a letter about her funeral. I bet something interesting is going to happen in the funeral if Buddha is leading the Buddhist part of the ceremony. And we were planning on having her buried at Arlington National Cemetery. But like a typical Buddhist, I am celebrating my mother's passing with the foods that she loved. That's kind of like a Buddhist tradition. So anyways, you guys, yeah, it's making me feel better. By the way, I don't need any mementos of my mother. 80%, in fact, everything, this top she gave me, she taught me how to color and cut my own hair. 80% of the clothes that I own, and maybe 90% of the jewelry is from my mother. I'm not really a big jewelry person, so most of the jewelry is kind of being stored in the closet. But 80% of my clothes are from my mother. And this dresser drawer is from her. So I have a lot of things that remind me of her. My bed, the bed frame, is from her. I have so many things here that remind me of her. Yeah. Clothes. I'm so good on clothes. She gave me more clothes than I could use. Yeah, I've got a ton of clothes from her. Like I said, 80% of my closet, the clothes are from her. She gave me beautiful clothes. So I have all sorts of things that remind me of her. Yeah, she basically saved my life after my divorce by letting me live with her. So, yeah. And she taught me how to cook. She taught me how to do my hair. She taught me how to sew. Though a lot of it, she taught me the basics, and then I kind of jumped off from there and learned on my own. I actually, when I was a student at Florida State University in the 1970s, I actually took a course in food preparation out of their food and nutrition department, because back then I wanted to be the perfect wife for my Christian husband. I'm certain my husband, Brent Spiner, is not complaining that I've turned into an international gourmet cook. Yeah, it was my men's idea for me to have a cooking YouTube channel. So, you guys, yeah, and I'm going to be going on a cooking binge, because that's how I'm honoring my mother right now. Because every time I cook, it reminds me of her. When I was growing up, you know how your parents always tell you gotta finish your plate. She never ordered. She told us growing up, I don't believe in what American parents teach, forcing their kids to finish their plate. She told us, she said, you don't have to finish your plate if you don't want. But you know what? We always did, because her food was so good. We always finished our plate. She was the best cook. Yeah. So I probably got that from her. She was a pretty good seamstress too, so I probably got that from her. Like these shorts, I sewed them myself. Yeah. She taught me how to sew. And a lot of the cooking I learned from her. A lot of the recipes that I make come from her or were inspired by her. So I'm honoring her by cooking a lot, because, yeah, my tendency to be a gourmet cook, I got that from her. In fact, the home she has, that's the mansion she's sharing with Bill, there is a whole room in there with all sorts of cookware, and they're kind of like on the cooking shows, you know. It's probably because of the fact that she was such a big-time cook. Yeah. Yeah, she certainly was. Like I said, growing up, she never ordered us to finish our plate. She didn't have to order us. Her food was so good we wanted to finish our plate. Anyways, so it's time for me to go, and I wanted to make the weekly video. I'm handling my mother's passing very well. I believe that she watches everything that I do in my apartment, and she's probably enjoying all the food I'm making. Yeah, they can taste food up in heaven, you know.